He thought I was asleep, but I wasn't. I felt his hand slip behind my back, slow, careful, like he didn't want to wake me. But I let him keep going. I didn't move. I didn't speak. I just let his touch tell me everything he never said out loud. And when he whispered my name into the dark, I finally turned toward him. That night changed everything. Please subscribe my new channel. I never expected my quiet Friday night to turn into something so unforgettable. My name is Madison Blake, and I always believed I knew how to control my feelings, especially when it came to my roommate's older brother, Ethan Reed. He was tall, charming in that careless way that made girls blush, and had this deep voice that could melt anyone's defenses. I'd seen girls fall for him like leaves in the wind, but I wasn't supposed to be one of them. I told myself that over and over again. But the thing about attraction is, it doesn't care about logic. It started on a rainy evening when Ethan came over to crash at our apartment. His apartment building had some kind of electrical failure, and my roommate, Jenna, was away with her boyfriend in Miami for the weekend. So when he knocked on the door with a backpack slung over his shoulder and a crooked grin on his face, I hesitated. "You sure it's okay?" he asked, wiping rain from his hair. I tried not to stare at the droplets clinging to his jawline. "Yeah. Jenna told me you'd be stopping by." He stepped in, and suddenly the small apartment felt smaller. That night we ate pizza and watched an old rom-com on the couch. The air buzzed with something I couldn't quite name, and maybe he felt it too because every time I glanced at him, he was already watching me. I thought sleep would help clear my head. I changed into my sleep shorts and an oversized tee, crawled into bed, and tried to think about anything other than Ethan's hazel eyes or that playful smirk. But sleep didn't come easily. I tossed and turned, restless with thoughts. I didn't realize how light I was sleeping until I felt movement. Subtle at first, a shift in the air. The couch creaked softly in the next room. I heard the kitchen faucet turn on and off. Then footsteps, slow and cautious. Kept my eyes closed. My bedroom door didn't close all the way. Never did. It stayed cracked open just enough to hear sounds, feel presence, see silhouettes. Then I felt it, the gentle dip of the mattress beside me. My heart pounded so loud I was sure he could hear it. I stayed still. Not because I was scared, but because I was curious. Was it him? A warm hand hovered near my hip but didn't touch. The hesitation in that moment made something flutter low in my stomach. I stayed breathing soft, pretending to be asleep. Then he let his hand settle behind my back, barely touching. Just warmth. Just awareness. My breath hitched for a second, but not enough to break the illusion. He thought I was sleeping, but I let him keep going. His hand moved, feather-light, brushing upward along my spine. I felt the tip of his fingers trace along the hem of my shirt, pausing there, not crossing a line, just staying at the edge of it. He was testing limits. I could tell by the way he barely exhaled, as if unsure what to do next. But he didn't stop. Slowly, his hand slid beneath the fabric, just resting against the curve of my lower back. It was so tender, so respectful, yet undeniably charged. I felt a whisper against my neck. Not a word, just the warmest breath. And I realized in that moment, he wasn't just being bold. He was being careful, 'cause he wanted me to. His hand moved behind me again, this time forming soft circles against my back. Comforting, almost like he was trying to memorize every inch. Then I felt something I didn't expect. His other hand, waving behind my back, like he was signaling something or maybe just expressing silent frustration or confusion. It was an odd movement, but in a way, endearing, like he was silently telling himself, Don't go too far. But I didn't want him to stop. I slowly rolled in his direction, keeping my eyes shut. My movement exposed more of my collarbone as the oversized tee shifted. His hand froze. I could feel him studying my face, trying to decide if I was really asleep. His hand moved up, brushing a strand of hair from my cheek. That tenderness made my heart ache. Then finally I opened my eyes. He stilled. "Madison," he breathed, voice barely audible. I stared at him, not saying anything at first. We were inches apart. I could feel his breath on my lips. "You thought I was asleep," I whispered. "I didn't mean to," he trailed off, pulling his hand back. But I caught it, gently wrapping my fingers around his. "I didn't want you to stop." His eyes searched mine, full of surprise and something deeper. Desire, yes, but also admiration. He leaned closer, hesitating just before his lips met mine. It was the softest kiss I'd ever felt. And then everything changed. The air in the room turned electric. His hands roamed more freely, still gentle but purposeful now. He moved over me, tracing lines from my hip to my ribcage, learning me like a story he'd waited years to read. Our kiss deepened, heat curling between us, making my toes curl and my breath catch. But he didn't rush. He kept asking with his touch, and I kept answering with mine. Every movement, every brush of his lips along my neck, my shoulder, the curve of my jaw, it all built slowly, like waves teasing the shore before they crash. I wrapped my legs around him, feeling the strength of his body press against mine. He kissed me with reverence, with longing that seemed to have lived in him far longer than I imagined. He whispered things into my skin, calling me beautiful, saying how long he'd wanted this, wanted me. Hours passed like minutes. Time bent around the quiet intensity of our closeness. When the sun peeked through the curtains, he was still beside me, his arm around my waist, his breath soft against the back of my neck. I wasn't pretending to sleep anymore. Later that morning, over coffee and shy glances, he said, "I shouldn't have come into your room last night." I looked at him, heart full. "But I'm glad you did." He smiled, and it was a different kind of smile this time. Not playful or charming, just real. We didn't try to label it that day. But from that moment everything changed. I used to think love came with big declarations or fireworks. But sometimes, love starts with a quiet hand on your back when you least expect it, on a night when you pretend to be asleep, just to see if he cares enough to stay. And Ethan stayed. Every night after that. His place was right beside me.